What is up, everybody? This is probably gonna be an awesome video. No, it is gonna be an awesome video because you see, I just got home from seeing Spider-Man Brand New Day. And let me tell you something. To quote a former tag team from WWE, it's a new day. Yes, it is. Let me tell you something. Let me give you a spoiler-free review. I love this movie. I loved it. I heard the rumors. I heard the speculations online. I heard the leaks. I heard the spoilers online. But you know what? I blocked them from my brain when I went to go see this movie. And I was excited. And I dare say, if you can hear it in my voice, I dare say that I was more hyped, more excited about Spider-Man Brand New Day than I am about Avengers Doomsday. Isn't that amazing? And you might be saying, but Michael, Avengers Doomsday, it's going to have Doctor Doom, which is something that we as Marvel fans have wanted to see in the Marvel Universe, well, in the MCU, for a long time, right? We wanted to see Doctor Doom. And yes, we got Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four way back when in 2005 and 2007 and stuff like that. And so you might be thinking, shouldn't you be hyped? But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you why right now I was more hyped about Spider-Man than I am about Avengers Doomsday. And it's very real simple. It's simple. And to Marvel Studios, take notes from the audience scores that you receive, because you will see them. Take notes from the Marvel fans and the videos that you see either on TikTok or either on YouTube, especially this one. Take notes, because what I'm about to tell you, I'm about to offer you free advice. And I think a lot of content creators will tell you this, okay? But here goes. The reason why I was more hyped about Spider-Man than I am about Avengers Doomsday is because Spider-Man focuses on Spider-Man. Spider-Man focuses on the character of Peter Parker, in my opinion, trying to balance his life out as Spider-Man. Something that, well, I never read the comics, but something that we used to get in the comics. Now, I didn't read the comics, obviously because I couldn't see them. But I remember as a little kid, I would watch the 90s Spider-Man animated series, which is, if you ask my opinion, is the greatest Spider-Man cartoon of all time. This felt like that. This felt like the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. Now, there are some things that were left out that I will get into in my spoiler-free review here in a little bit. But for the most part, there was no multiverse, save for one character in particular, but I'll get into it a little bit. But for me, this was an honest Spider-Man story. This was an honest to good Spider-Man straight out of the comics. And I loved everything about it. I loved the costume, which you can see right here in front of you. The old Spider-Man costume. Everything that we're familiar with. No alterations. No high tech. Nothing. This is Spider-Man. The web shooters. Him fighting bad guys at a street level. You've heard this before. And now, I'm not one to say box office stuff because, quite frankly, I'm not good at math. But it has been projected that Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to make possibly 800 mil its opening weekend, this weekend. Guys, I think it's going to push beyond that. I think we're looking maybe by Monday. This is just speculation from me. Don't take this from me. Go, whatever. I literally think Spider-Man Brand New Day by Monday might hit $1 billion this weekend. The theaters were packed. My theater was packed. And at the end, everybody the whole audience was clapping at the end of the movie for Spider-Man. Marvel, you keep wanting to do the multiverse. Stop doing the multiverse. Do the characters that matter most. Spider-Man. X-Men. And granted, while I loved the Fantastic Four movie, which I did, and I loved the Thunderbolts, I did. But Spider-Man, X-Men, the Hulk, you do those heroes. And guess what? They will come. So, I enjoyed this movie. I really did. I got excited. So much that if I can rope someone into it, I want to go again. By the way, what was actually really cool, outside my theater, there was actually somebody dressed up as Spider-Man in a Spider-Man costume taking pictures with people. Wish I could have gotten a picture. Anyway, so I'm going to get into spoiler territory here. But before I do, I'm going to give you my score. My score for Spider-Man. Hands down. 9 out of 10. Straight up 9. I loved it. And I'll say it like this. Damn it. This is a win that Marvel needed. All right. Now, I'm about to go into spoiler territory. So, if you haven't seen Spider-Man, come back to the video, go watch it, then come back, and let's nerd out about it. But until then, I'm going to count it down here. And if you haven't seen it, feel free to back out and then come back and watch the rest of the video. But until then, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Okay. So, in this movie, it kind of picks up where Spider-Man No Way Home left off, right? If you all remember from Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange cast the spell at the end so that nobody would remember that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. We start out with him navigating this, him doing whatever a Spider-Man can do, right? Webbing up bad guys, fighting some of his awesome villains like the Scorpion, Tombstone. We even see, we don't see him directly, but we do get to see the Shocker's shock bands or shock gloves, right? And so we see Spider-Man trying to navigate life, as I said, as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He's more Spider-Man now than he is Peter Parker. And you remember from the trailers, you remember he starts off by saying, "Hi, I'm Peter Parker." And he's trying to write a letter to MJ and Ned because he's trying to, tell them who he is because they have no idea who he is, right? And it gets a little emotional throughout. Anyway, despite all of that, we get John Bernthal's Punisher in it, which I love. The dynamic back and forth between him and Spidey is excellent. And not only that, we get this organization called Damage Control. Spidey fights the Hand, which, honestly, if there's one thing I would have loved to see, I would have loved to see Daredevil in there because Daredevil fought the Hand. So I think it would have been cool if Daredevil would have came to help Spidey. But either way, as I stated, classic costume, and it was awesome. Okay? Now, as you know from the trailers, Spider-Man has started to mutate, and it only happens when he gets like really angry, right? And the theory that I had was, oh man, okay, they're gonna do the Man Spider. Now, if you don't know what the Man Spider was, it was in the comics, and it was also in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, where basically Peter Parker was undergoing a mutation, and it transformed him into Man Spider. Thankfully, they didn't do it, because this is kind of a little bit of a kid's movie, and you don't want to do Man Spider. It's not that great. Anyway, but he's going through this. We get, as Spider-Man changes, his spider sense gets heightened, and also he starts to shoot organic webbing instead of his web shooters, which is a direct callback to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man from the early 2000s, and I loved it. And most importantly, just, to see, Spider-Man do Spider-Man things. It was awesome. So let's get to who else was in here. And I know you guys are wondering, Michael, who's the villain? Who's the villain? So first, when Peter starts undergoing his mutation, he goes to Dr. Banner. Yes, he goes to Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner for help. Bruce is wearing an inhibitor. Now, the inhibitor is designed to keep the Hulk, at bay for Dr. Banner. And eventually, as we know, I'm going to fast forward. I'm going to go all around in this spoiler review right now. But anyway, Dr. Banner, he wears it to keep the Hulk in check. Peter goes to him for advice to be like, hey, is there any way to keep the good stuff good and the bad stuff, from taking over? And Dr. Banner's like, well, theoretically, yeah. But how do you know what's good and what's bad? And, you've seen it from the trailers. Anyway. So then we learn that Spider-Man has to face somebody who keeps jumping minds. I'm going to just say it. The villain in this, or the face villain, if you will, is from the X-Men, Jean Grey. Okay? And you guys know Jean Grey. No, it's not Dark Phoenix. It's Jean Grey. And I'm kind of thinking this is before she joins the X-Men. Now, I know what some of you fans are thinking. You're thinking, well, why? Why is Jean the villain? Jean would never be a villain. She's an X-Men. Well, it makes sense. Jean is going after this company, the department known as Damage Control. Damage Control kidnapped her sister a long time ago. Jean has been looking for her sister. And she thinks, and it's not that she thinks that Spider-Man is working with them. It's she's out to get Damage Control for kidnapping her sister. And she wants to know, again, where her sister is. Thanks to Spider-Man, because he doesn't know that actually Damage Control is the real villains, he ends up accidentally helping them catch her. And he has to go save her. Now, here's the thing. She, thanks to her powers, she's able to jump minds. She's able to jump from mind to mind and control them. And this is one of the saddest parts in the movie because she ends up being able to control MJ. And she makes Peter or Spidey believe that MJ remembers him. And to paraphrase the line, she's like, is that what you thought was going to happen? You thought that she would instantly remember. And she says, unfortunately, you're out of luck. She doesn't remember anything about you. She doesn't even know you. And ends up falling backwards off of a roof, and Peter has to save her. But right before he saves her, or he does, which he does, right before, as she's falling, Jean lets go of the mind control and everything. And eventually, throughout the movie, Peter takes her to the Punisher, everything, but she finds the letter that he wrote to her and everything, and she says, I'm sorry, which this was heartbreaking even for me. I even kind of almost cried. She goes, I'm sorry. I don't remember you. And that girl that you saved, that girl that you did what you did to save her, she would have been proud of you. She would have said thank you. But I don't remember you. I have no memories of you. And I don't love you. And that kind of hurt. And so, yeah, it even hurt me. So, after that, Spidey goes to damage control headquarters. He goes to stop Jean. He goes to try to bring her back to sanity. She ends up controlling the Hulk, Mark Ruffalo. She ends up controlling Banner. She gets him to transform into the Hulk. Well, when Peter and the Punisher both get her to let go of her control over the Hulk, Professor Hulk's gone, guys, okay? Professor Hulk is gone. I'm just going to say it. Forgive me. I don't curse in my videos, but I'm going to say it, guys. And I'm sorry this is running long, but this is so cool. We get motherfucking Savage Hulk back, which I have wanted to see the Hulk. Look, guys, I hated Professor Hulk, okay? Everybody hated Professor Hulk. We get Savage Hulk back. Raging, roaring, green monster. Yeah. And it was awesome. And so the end of it is Peter fights off the Hand. He fights off the ninjas because they're all being controlled by Jean. Spidey goes to her. She goes into his mind, and she has a talk with a memory. Peter lets her talk to Aunt May, and Aunt May says, you're special, you're beautiful, but we don't just love you because you're special. We love you because you're you, right? There were many instances in this movie, guys, where even MJ says it. Peter's trying to stop his mutation. And she says, I think you're just a normal guy who's just growing up. And that was so powerful because MJ says to Peter, you're changing, but you're growing up. And then with Jean, when she's talking to Aunt May, she tells Aunt May, which is a memory in his mind, it's hard. And she goes, yeah, it is. But we love you because you're you. And that's the thing. So many people are focused on how they look or, stuff like that. Or maybe they don't feel special. But this movie reminds us that we are special in our own unique way. And the people around us, they love us not because of what we can do, or not just because we're special, but because of who we are. So remember that. Anyway, let's wrap this up, shall we? So, we get a happy ending. Peter ends up putting his life on the line for her because the Punisher is trying to shoot Jean. And Spider-Man gets in the way, and he takes the bullet for Jean to keep her alive. He ends up going to the hospital, and you see the reach of support for Spider-Man as he's in the hospital. Which I think this was cool because in order to keep his anonymity, the Punisher puts on the Spider-Man mask and basically like shows himself through the window just wearing the Spider-Man mask while Peter slips through the crowd. We see Jean Grey headed to upstate New York. She's on a bus with a sweatshirt on, and we all know where she's going. She's going to the Xavier Institute. She's going to the X-Mansion. Come on. And, yeah. And Spider-Man webs off on another adventure. And he goes to Aunt May's grave, and I think this is really important, and he says, I now know that I don't have to do this alone, and I'm not alone. And that's the lesson. He learned that he doesn't have to fight crime, he doesn't have to go through all this all on his own. And then he makes up with his friends. Well, he meets Ned for the first time, or he introduces himself, or, whatever. So, a little bit confusing, but it was good. It was really good. Guys, I really enjoyed Spider-Man. If you guys decide to watch the post-credit scene, I was already spoiled by it. I'll spoil it here. Basically, Ned created a Spider-Man tracker at the end of the movie, after the credits, if you choose to stay that long. The tracker goes off, and it's like, it just signals where Spider-Man is. Well, then it goes up away from Earth, and it goes to outer space, and it says, Spider-Man location unknown. Location unknown. And then it's assumed that he's out in space, and you know where that leads. Not to Doomsday, but to Secret Wars on Battleworld. So we'll see. Anyway, guys, that is my review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I was really, really hyped. I want to go see it again. It's a 9 out of 10 for me, and I love it. And I love seeing Spider-Man back on the big screen, back being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, back as we know and as we love him. And yes, there was a little bit of technology, a little bit of that old Tony Stark, from what we know, but not too much. This was Spider-Man down to a T, and I loved every minute of it. So, do I think it's going to beat Doomsday? At this point, we'll see. And I kind of hope so. But until then, guys, thanks for checking out the video. Let me know if you've seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, or if you are going to go see it. And if you have seen it, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think? And if you haven't seen it, go see it. Go see it this weekend. Go see it. Because I guarantee you, it's going to be fun. So until the next video, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when another video is out. I'll see you in the next one. Swing on, Spider Friends. And Spider Friends, go for it. See ya.